Hi there, Scott Snyder, Seed Care Specialist with Syngenta, and what I'm going to show you in this video today is how to create a run on our online recipe calculator for seed treating. And basically, people might call it different things. A run would be like a batch or a trading session, or even just as simple as a customer order that you get, and you got to put in all the details in the recipe calculator, and it'll do the calculations for you. Obviously, we always recommend to double check the calculations, but this is a real good aid and a real good way to keep records on all the different orders. So I'll share out my screen here, and in another video, I've showed you how to get to this page, and then a much longer video, I've showed you how to create a recipe. So now at the point we're at, we're gonna go into your recipes, because let's say for this example, you've got an order of your one recipe, which would be a fungicide insecticide enhanced. So this is with fungicide base, Fertenza insecticide, and Saltro. And what you could do here is, I mentioned in another video, you can name it however you want. You can put the product names right in here, or you can, I've seen it down in the US. I've seen they have different packages, kind of a little bit of a marketing spin on it. They'd have like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, something like that, just something catchy for the growers and easy to communicate. And then because once you get all the product names in there and stuff, it and different rates and stuff like that does get complicated. But however you want to organize it that way. In this case, we got say we got a order for this recipe, and what I'm going to do is slide across here to run on the right hand side. So what it does here is it copies all the details from the recipe. So Fertenza Vibrance Max, apron, we had apron in there. That's the other reason it was enhanced, because in this scenario, we're talking about a Phytophthora problem as well. Saltro for SDS, your inoculant info. And then again, you can name this however you want. This date and time stamps it, which is actually super handy for record keeping. But let's say, in a lot of operations, you'll have Joe Farmer. He'll come in 3 times a year. He'll bring his gravity bin. He'll come in 3 times a year, and he'll get the same amount every time, same variety, same treatment. And so in this scenario, he could have already been in once. What you're going to do is this is a second order. So type it in, Joe Farmer load 2. And what you can do is, if you already inputted the load 1, you can actually go on this repeat run, hit his first one. You're going to name it this load 2, but it's going to copy everything over from the other order and make it real simple. When you scroll down here, there's treatment basis. So most people are on milliliters per 100 kg. If you're not familiar with kind of talking about rate per seed and rate per weight, that it's likely that that's wherever a lot of people started. Some people are moving to this rate per seed, which is milligrams of AI per seed. But for the sake of this argument, we'll go here. Our labels should have, our newer labels have kind of both rates or both languages on the label. Some of the older ones might only have one or the other. And if you look over here, we've got the opportunity to go, does this farmer take his load in kgs because he weighs his wagon on the way in and the way out, or does he take it per unit? Maybe he's coming in and getting, maybe he's got a wagon and he's coming in and getting four cubits or 4 totes. And the other option over here is seed count. So for traded, we have 140,000. For IP, we have 110,000. Now these are NK denominations, but if you have a different one that has a different seed count per unit, you can just leave this as whatever, and the only thing it's going to throw off is it's going to change this bag weight here. So then you just have to know if you don't have the right number in here, because you can't, then the bag weight's going to be off, and you can't really trust that. So we scroll down here, there's different seed sizes you can put in here. So it just automatically populates 6,600, but you can go, you can go pretty high or pretty low. There are ranges on it, but we'll just say for this one, let's go 5,200. This is in seeds per kg. So depending on where you're at. Like some people talk seeds per kg, some people talk seeds per pound. It's like Celsius and Fahrenheit, right? So you'll just have to do the conversion to get it into seeds per kg here. Your treater here, since we said units, this is going to be asking for units. So let's say it's 4 totes. So that'd be 160. And then your treater seed flow rate. So this is a number that, you know, everybody's is different. Usually it's between, you know, 350 to 400 to 600. And you can run it higher, like it automatically populates 800, which is kind of on the high end of the spectrum. But this number is just different for everybody. It's specific to your setup, how fast your conveyors are set up for inlet and outlet, how fast or how many treated personnel you have to deal with it once it's treated, right? If it's just one person running the whole operation, you're going to have to go slower because you're going to have to go in, you know, different steps in the process. If you got somebody taking care of taking away the seed, then you don't have to worry about that, and you can just you know, have a more continuous style. But yeah, pick your number. You should know what your number is, and if not, we can. It's as simple as, you know, timing your flow rate through your seed treater from a set start point to the set end point, and a known weight of seed, and then you can get the kilograms per minute that way. And if you need any help with that, just give me a call. I do have some documents on it, or if need be, I can come out and we can run through that. And then when you get down here, you're going to have your target slurry volume. So we have here recommended slurry rate for soybeans is 325 mils per 100 kg. This is, yeah, quite commonly we see the best results for coverage at this point, and just appearance. But you know, different reasons, you might have a couple extra products in there and you might have to be running a bit higher than this. So it's totally, you know, each recipe will be different. We threw a couple extra products in here, Apron and Saltro, so we will be a little bit on the higher side, but for the purpose of this example, and not many people are up this high because you got to worry about washing off. But let's just say we were at 500, which again, not common for soybeans. And let's say we got 3 pump stands. Everything that we've put in here hasn't changed anything or taken into effect yet, because we have not hit calculate. So once we hit calculate, it's going to take all these changes, and you slide down here, and this is your recipe. It's got all the products we've told it in the original recipe. It's got all the mils per 100 kg, because that's the rate per weight. And we got a total of 500 here. And since we had the total of 500, what it's done is it's calculated how much water we're going to need in here. If you're at 325, if we were, we can do that example here. It's going to know we don't need any water because we actually already are above that 325 for this recipe. We're at 412. But again, purpose of example, we'll go with 500 so you can see what it does with water. It's telling you it needs 88 mils per 100 kg, which it's going to tell you the amount in liters and the amount in kilograms. Now, you can see the difference between products like Saltro. It's 4.31 liters or 5.17 kilograms. And some people might be weighing some products and measuring other products out. So all I ask or all I recommend is just make sure that when you're looking at the sheet, or when somebody in the office prints out the sheet and the treater takes it out, just make sure you know which one of these you're looking at, because a lot of them are fairly similar values, right? 4.31 and 4.59. You don't want to be grabbing the wrong one by accident. So even if you can highlight with a highlighter or circle it, then it's very easy at the treater to see which one exactly you're going for. Because once you get mixing, you know, and there's people calling in orders, and there's people are busy in the yard. It gets complicated, and it's hard to keep track of everything. So just make it very obvious, and then hopefully things go well. And the other option here is it's saying overall, if everything was all in one tank, you'd have to pump this at 2,250 mils per minute, based on this flow rate that we've got of the seed. But what we're actually going to do is we've told it we've got 3 pump stands. So since we told it that and it calculated, it now gives us the option to go 1, 2, and 3. So you can assign each product to which tank it's going to be in. So for this example, everyone's set up different, but we're going to say the Optimize LV is in its own little poly tank off to the side, mounted on the treater, like an LP800. That's pretty common. Then we're going to say that our Vibrance Max, our Apron is in 1, and we're going to say our Fortenza is in 2, and we might have our Saltro in that first one because it's a fungicide, and the water we might actually put to 2 just from a load perspective with the Fortenza. So now we've got all those. It's not going to take effect. Here you see just 1 pump. It's not going to take effect or into account this until you hit recalculate. Now it's going to split everything out like we said. So now when you look at it, pump 1 has, and again, it shows you all the products, the rates, and the two different outlooks. Then it says slurry rate per minute. So this is what number you'd be watching for on pump 1's, mass flow or volumetric flow meter specifically to that pump. And then it'd be a volumetric flow meter for that pump. And then pump 2, same thing here. Pump 3, if it's a poly tank, it's likely not going to have a flow meter, but this is what you'd use to calibrate what's running out of that, and then you'd adjust it to meet this, right? And if in this example, if you're always only having the optimizer, the inoculant in that 1 tank, and you're always running the labor rate, you're going to have to calibrate that, and then that's just going to stay set. And if this is the only thing that's ever going in pump 3, you're not going to have to adjust it throughout the year. So again, if there's a lot going on and you realize you made some mistakes, you can hit reset run at the bottom here. If you're happy with it and you got everything that you want, you can hit save. Tells you it saves successfully. And then this is a bit of a tricky part. So again, always slide over to the right to the arrow to see more details. It's going to tell you all the recipe details automatically, like we showed you in the last video. But then now that we've created a run under this recipe, there's going to be run details. So here it's going to show, and it kind of blends in with the bottom of the rest of the chart, but it's going to show you all the different run or batches or orders that you have under that recipe, and it's going to have them all here. It's going to tell you when it was ran, so that's good for record keeping, little details. And the important part is this: as people are getting more and more in tune with data and agronomic decisions and so on. So there will be farmers that are requesting maybe this level of detail, or maybe it's just from the accounting side of things and the invoicing side of things, you want to see exactly how much was used for a specific order. So you can do this, and you can click it similar to the last video where we clicked on the recipe and print an email. Here you have to click on the actual run, and then use this print or email button, and you can print it to a PDF, or you can print it onto out of a printer. Just select that there, and again, it's just a detailed look. It's a bit bigger here. Detailed look, and you can see there's actually three pages for this because it breaks down a lot more information. Has your pump flow rates and stuff on that, so it's got everything. So you could save it or print it. Or if you want, and again, it unselected this as soon as you come out of that, so you got to select it again, this batch, and you want to email it. Click on email, and you can enter an email address, hit add, send, and it's gonna take a couple seconds, but it's gonna send that through your email to the email it said, and then it's gonna boot you back to the main page there. So there, it actually booted us out of the calculator. But as you can see, if we go back into my recipes, soybean, slide over to the right, it does have that run detail. And then the cool thing is, if you have, by the end of the season, you should have quite a few runs under each of these recipes, and you can search by name here. So if you want to find all Joe Farmer's for like all of his different orders or loads, you do that. You'd hit enter, and it's not going to do much because we only have one in here, and it is already him. But then you could select all of his orders, and then from there you could print or email. And again, where I want to take this is to be able to use this more from an accounting side of things, where you can run summaries on different customers or batches or recipes as a whole, so that you can at your retail track your inventory, your shrink and your swell, and then be talking with your TSRs to in the future to help us forecast products better and create a more stable supply. So again, bit of a crash course on that, but if you have any questions specifically on it, feel free to give me a text or a call. And if you run into any errors or any problems, take some screenshots and send them to me, and we can work through it. So thank you for your attention.